Good morning, students of class 9. Let's continue our history lesson. Welcome back to the online classes now. I hope you are going through the online portal every day and continue our lesson so that you will not miss. Now let us talk about the peasants and farmers of England. So as in our previous class I have told you that we'll first talk about how the lives of the peasants and farmers have changed dramatically during the late 18th and 19th century. Then we'll talk about the peasant and farmers of America. Then we'll talk about India. So first part, peasants and farmers of England. The time of open fields and commons. So now here are 7-8 points. So now we'll talk one by one. Over the late 18th and 19th centuries, 18th and 19th centuries, during this period, the English countryside means rural areas, villages, countryside changed dramatically. The countryside changed dramatically because before this period, before 18th and 19th century, before this, a large part of the countryside was open. It was open, nobody lived there. It was wild. Trees, grasses and forests were there. So, large part of the area was covered with grasslands or forests. It was called common land. Peasants cultivated on strips. Strip means patches. Strips of land around the village they live in. Around the village they had a cultivated land. They had a land which is used for cultivation. Strips of land. Strips means patches. The patches of lands were cultivated by the villagers around the village. Near the village where they live. Number 3. At the beginning of each year, they had a tradition, they had a custom that every year, in the beginning of every year, at a public meeting, they had a meeting, in the village they had a meeting, and each villager was given a piece of land here, a piece of land there, a piece of land there, in separate places. Each villager used to get a strip of land. At the beginning of each year, at a public meeting, each villager, as I have told you, was given a number of strips, number of plots, you can say that, to cultivate or to grow crops. This was done, actually there was a method for this, there is a process. Why they did this? Usually these strips were of different quality. Some areas have got a good soil and some areas have got a bad soil. And if it is not done in this way, then some people will have a good land and some people will have a bad land. It's unfair. So that's why a number of strips were given to each villager. Usually these strips were of different quality and located at different places around the village. So certain areas have got good land, certain areas have bad land, means sandy. So that's why each villager was given a small part of good land and a small part of bad land and another small part of moderate, not good, not bad, moderate quality this land. So these villagers were given a number of strips to cultivate. That's why. It was done, this was done so that all the villagers had a mix of good and bad land, so that all will have equality. To bring equality, a mixture of good and bad land was provided to each villager. They did not have their own land all the time doing the private land. No, it was not private land. The cultivated land was owned by the village and at the beginning of each year they had a meeting and each villager was given a part of land a mixture of good and bad lands. That was their tradition, or that was their system. All villagers had access to, beyond this, number 6, beyond this cultivated land, beyond means further, beyond these strips of cultivated land, cultivation, lay the common land. That was the common land. Beyond the cultivated land lay the common land, and here all the villagers can go and graze their animals. All villagers had access. Access means they could go there. All can go. They had the access to the common lands. Here in this common land, they graze their animals. They used to graze their animals, collect fuel wood. They used to collect wood in the forest. Berries, wild berries and fruits, they used to collect for food. Not only that, they even hunted rabbits there in that common land. So they had a common land, and all the people had the access to, and they used to go hunt there, graze their animals. They used to bring fuel wood and so on. All the people, nobody could stop there because that was common. That's why it was named as common land, beyond the cultivated land. For the poor people in the village, in the rural areas, for the poor people, common land was very essential. It was very necessary for survival. So they used to get food and other materials, materials of daily need, such as fodder, grazing their animals, bring fuel wood. Not only that, they used to hunt for survival. So for the poor, this common land was very, very necessary or essential for their survival. So what happens after that, we will talk about in our next class. So go through the online portal every day, and you should not miss your classes. It doesn't take a long time. So we'll go slowly but continuously without stopping, so that we should not miss the classes, because we don't have much time. Time is running out, and as so classes are also not going on right now. So once the classes starts, then we'll continue thoroughly and continuously, more properly. So this much for today, but you go through it. You have the book, you go through the book as well. This is 1.1, peasants and farmers, time of open fields and commons. So go through this. I have written the points. Big paragraph is there. So 1.1. So go through it at home also, and listen to the portal, so it will be easy for you to understand, and it will be clear to you. So that's all. You won't have any problem later on. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll meet in the next class. Thank you for watching. That's all.